right now is because if you weren't, you would have come all the way to Indiana for nothing. So that's a good reason. But no, it's funny. I was actually just over at our UK little mini summit where they have about 100 people. 100 people came over from the UK, and that we started less than a year ago there. And those people in the UK are very similar to the way I think about how we started this business back in 2007. They have some good days, and they have some incredibly frustrating days, trying to figure out how all of this stuff works. And you know what? That's part of the process. I'm sure even for all of you, you have good days, and you have days where you say, how does this thing work? And am I doing it right? And I think that that's totally natural. There are coaches, I can tell you, who I know who are very successful in this business that you look at and you think, God, if I can only be like them, if I can only achieve what they've achieved. I can guarantee you that each one of those people have faced the same exact obstacles, have thought about, can I really do this? Have thought about, maybe this isn't for me, but it turned out it was for them. And it turned out that getting past those obstacles is often not the monumental challenge that you think it is, that it seems to be at times. So often, like the difference between, struggling to get through and being wildly successful, it's like 1 degree or 2 degrees. It's that you're doing something and it's not working. Often it's just a slight shift in tactic, or a slight shift in commitment, or a slight shift in how you are doing something, or even a slight shift in your belief system. And often, and I can tell you, in this business or outside of this business, believe it or not, I'm kind of an old guy. And I can tell you that with age comes experience, and I know that for myself, on many levels, there have been times when it seems like there's just insurmountable obstacles, and there are times to take a right turn or a left turn, and I found that when I've taken the right turn or the left turn, I didn't get to where I wanted to go. The place I wanted to go was on the other side of that obstacle, and committing to it and doing what it takes to get past that obstacle was invaluable, and it paid off. I was joking the other meeting that, it takes a consistent investment to achieve anything. This weekend happens to be both Jeff Hill's and my wedding anniversary. No, we're not married to each other, but so Jeff and Joette are their anniversaries on the 22nd, and Diane and my anniversary is on the 24th, so on Sunday. And I can tell you that even, so Diane and I have been together 33 years, right? And that is an investment. And I'm hoping one day there'll be a payoff. Please, she's here if you, not here, so if you see her out there, don't tell her I've used that joke twice already. But it is an investment. And so, but with investment comes amazing opportunity. I look at, it's funny, my father, who was like just Depression era, was a blue collar machinist, tool and die maker, and in his whole life, like, the most he ever made was $70,000, and that's after a 50-year career. But it's funny, like my father, who did this, like his goals, he wanted to send his 4 kids to college. and not have to have them have student loans. And he worked really hard to do that. He made that investment, and all four of us, ended up going to college. And my father he was always concerned, about money coming from the Depression era with his family. And if my father had $25 extra, he would invest that $25. To get my father to spend money outside of on us was next to impossible. So we're celebrating his 90th birthday in a couple weeks at the end of this month. And it's funny, my father at 90 years has just discovered that he has more money than he will ever spend. And that came from these little investments every time that he could make an investment. And I think that, why is it a good time to be a Beachbody coach? Because if you can commit to making these investments, the payoff long run is going to be phenomenal in many, many ways. I think that, of course, probably a lot of people think about how's it going to be financially. I think it can be pretty good financially. I think that, as we connect people, again, in the UK thing, my little speech was on how to build a residual business. There's sort of an easy math equation to it, and that is you bring a lot of people in, who bring a lot of people in, and everybody gets results, and everybody stays on Shakeology, and all that creates volume, and you have lots of pockets of coaches that are qualifying for Success Club and helping people achieve their goals, and that creates this optimal fuel for the engine. It's Team Cycle Bonus, and you start to make money. So it's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say, just qualify for Success Club. Just go out there and do it, and talk to people, and talk to them about the opportunity. The reality is that putting it into practice is not always easy. As coaches, you have to go out there and put yourself out there, which is not an easy thing to do. What does make it easier is confidence. And where does confidence come from? I think one, it comes from repetition. Those coaches that I talked about that are very successful now, when they started, they did not necessarily have a lot of confidence. They struggled with confidence because they weren't quite sure about what they were doing, and they were asking people to join something that they sometimes felt like they weren't quite successful in. But here's what you can be confident in: your results with the product, your experience with the product, right? If you aren't having a good experience with the product, you're probably not going to have a lot of success attracting other people to it. And the reality is why is it great to be a Team Beachbody coach? Here's what I can tell you about our products. There is so much integrity that surrounds our product from a product development perspective, starting with the fitness products. The fitness products don't just appear. The fitness products go through years of development, years of thinking, what do people need? We have a product development team that works with the trainers to develop the programs. We have test groups that happen long before we launch the products to make sure that people are actually getting results with the products. Shakeology, the integrity that goes into that product, the protection around the quality and efficacy around that product started from the very first day of product development. I remember when I first started, I had just started in the company, and on Tuesdays was tasting day. And Darren and Isabel would come in and they'd, concoct this little thing and pour it in these little cups, and I could barely they were so terrible that I could barely get it up. And funny story was that I didn't know, I just started, I didn't know Darren and Isabel, and we had the tasting, and after weeks, one of them was pretty good, and then the meeting ended, and I turned around, and Carl and Isabel were making out, and I thought, like, that's odd. Like, why would the CEO and the vendor be making out? And I thought, I bet they're going to get the contract. Anyway, it turns out they were dating. I didn't know this. They were married a little while after that. But like that thing, there was no compromise. Like in the early days, we were saying like, can you just take this stuff out to make it taste better? No, we got to just figure out how to make it taste better. And that commitment to that product, to making sure, just so you know, like, why does this thing cost $130? We make sure that all of the sourcing of that product, that we are getting the efficacy out of all of those ingredients. Each one of those ingredients goes through test upon test. Once it gets mixed, it goes through tests. So we test that product probably more than I've experienced with other companies in terms of making sure that what's in the bag is what we intend to be in the bag. Another thing that I can tell you, when you head out to the core, kind of off on the side, there's a couple posters out there around Shakeology and Beachbody Performance. Those are results from clinical studies, okay? So these aren't just us saying, this is what this product does. We go out and make sure that that science is validated. And so you can be proud of that. So as you're talking about, Shakeology, as you're talking about our fitness programs, and by the way, when I think of our products, and the difference, like the difference, what really separates us out, our products that we get people solutions with is not Shakeology, it's not our workout programs, it's the combination of great nutrition, working out, and a coach who will hold you accountable. So all of you are part of our solution. Without you, our solution would not be as successful. So that's something that you can have confidence in, that you play an integral role to getting your clients success. I think that you do have to believe in yourself. And I think that you have to believe in the potential of others, that they can get past their own obstacles, that they can get the results that they're looking for, the goals that they want to achieve to lead a happy and fulfilling lives. You have to have the belief that they can do it, not just the belief that you can convince them to be a coach, or not just the belief that you can convince them to, buy a challenge pack, because that's not enough. Like if they don't achieve those goals, they're likely not going to stay on Shakeology. They're likely not going to be a promoter themselves of this lifestyle and this opportunity. And so that belief that they can get past those same struggles that you guys have, that we all have, that is what is going to throttle your business. And again, it feels like I'm off topic from why is it a good time to be a Beachbody coach? But it is a good time for lots of reasons. It's a good time because there are literally millions and millions and millions of people that want to be in a different place than they are now, and will be happier when they're in a different place than they are now. And we have the solutions that can help get them there. We have incredible products. I can't spill the news, but tonight you'll hear that not only have we, you think about this year, we had 80-day obsession. We introduced the bars. We introduced 2B mindset. We've introduced, introducing Lift For and Mes de Mas. Well, we're just getting started for this year because there is some amazing stuff that Carl is going to talk about tonight. So that is a really good reason to be a Team Beachbody coach. And the other thing that I would say is a great reason to be a Team Beachbody coach, and I'll say this just from personal experience. of the last 12 years that I've invested in this company. That every day I come in, to work. There are some days when I'd rather not come into work, but I do come in, and the payoff for me of that investment is that my world has gotten incredibly bigger over the last 12 years in a way that it never would have without Team Beachbody. I get to come to work every day and literally work with an amazing staff. Jeff and Joette have become unbelievably close friends to Diane and I. I've got to meet coaches that all around the world that have become friends and have made my life feel fuller and richer. I've got to hang out with Miguel and Aaron. I've got to travel to, awesome Elite 10 adventures with Kim and Jamie and spend time with them. Like, my world has gotten bigger. And so for all of you, what I would say is that it is an awesome time to be a Team Beachbody coach, because the payoff is that your world is going to be bigger, your life is going to be richer, everything about it is going to put you in a place where you are going to be so thankful. When you look back 10 years from now, like for me, I have to tell you something, it's stunning for me. We're going to have a super workout on Saturday, and when I stand on stage and just look at this thing that we have become, this family that we've become, of all of these things, it is unbelievable. I remember our first summit, he argues this, but I think that there were about 12 people in the Shaun T workout. So, and Shaun was dancing around the room, and now it's like, our world just got bigger. So, 10 years from now, one, commit that you're all not just going to be here next year, you're going to be here 10 years from now, you're going to be here 20 years from now. And I guarantee you, for those of you, when we're 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when we all sit back and look back, we're going to just think, oh my God, I can't believe how big our world has become and how fulfilling that is. So anyway, thank you guys all for being here and making that investment. And we'll see you. Have a great rest of the week.